ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم صدق الله العظيم صلى الله على محمد يا ربي صل عليه وسلم صلى الله على محمد يا ربي صل عليه وسلم صلى الله على محمد يا ربي صل عليه وسلم وأصلي وأسلم وأبارك على سائر الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آلهم وأتباعهم إلى يوم الدين سبحانك ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. So we will talk inshallah about love. Everyone likes to talk about love. There is a lot of talks about love, and it's essential in the human life. Is what we strive for at the end. We want to feel loved, and we want to express love. But usually we don't understand it. So this kind of diagram based on, Sufi teaching. See this book, The Secret of the Love of Allah. I encourage you to read it, write it if you can, if you haven't read it yet. And based on some of Ibn Arabi writing as well. Sijil also consider Ibn Arabi his teacher. And it explains love in its deepest way that we need to understand. So first, it starts with attraction. Sometimes mystical attraction. And when I talk about love, maybe you love some type of food. Maybe you love walking in nature. You love a person. You love what we call the romantic love. So there's different type of love. You love children. You love to have a child. Things like that. So why we are attracted to things in a particular phase in our life? Whatever we're attracted for is from Allah. We're attracted for something because it's going to teach us about ourselves, which is teach us about Allah. We attracted to the beauty. Anything that carries that beauty, we can't even name it. You look at the tree or an ocean or a flower or even a snake. We talked about the opposites. And you can't help but feel that marvelous and that beauty that it carries. And without even able to name it, you find yourself attracted to look at it, attracted to know it, to know about it. There are even children are fascinated more than us actually about the world. They want to learn about space, they want to learn about, they are seeing everything for the first time. That's why the Sufi tells you to live in the moment like that, to have that excitement, that you're going to know there is a lot you don't know, we know only this. So they carry this excitement because they are attracted to that mystery, that marvel that appears in the creation, which actually carries, it's a trace of Allah, that's why we're attracted. So eventually we're attracted to Allah, but we are not knowing it yet if you're not conscious. If you are unconscious, we're attracted to know these things, to experience these things, to have the love of these things, the smell of these things, the taste of this thing, the romance of this thing. But it's all actually attracting us also towards union. Because with the multiplicity, we feel the separation. With the soul leaving the Allah, not leaving Allah in reality, but feeling the sense of separation, and in that multiplicity world, it wants to have this reunion. It wants to unite and bond. Even electrons are attracted. Even galaxies are attracted. We call it gravity, but it's actually love. Everything is created out of love. Everything unites, gives birth to something else. And because we want to bond, we want to reunite, we want to experience that unity. And we become one with maybe an orange or one with a flower when we smell it. We become one with things, and that is an existential knowing. But sometimes we only experience the sensuality of it, and we keep wanting that more and more, but without realizing the spiritual meaning and the aspect of it, love continue to elude us. Because it's like a mirage. This flower, it's gone after a while, it withered. So you look for something else is always we're looking for things, and we are made to be that way. So it can awaken us that we are dependent, even physically, on something else. And spiritually too, emotionally, we are dependent on that feeling that we strive to have that love and this godly quality. So we are attracted to Allah, but without realizing this, we keep again reading the universe, as I said before, as a gibberish language. We don't understand it. And everything brings sadness because everything is fleeting. We experience it and it fleets, it eludes us. And it can't satisfy us forever. But we are looking for this infinity. We are looking to that union for infinity. Love for infinity. We don't want to be loved or loving only for 5 minutes or a minute. Do you like that? Or you want to be loved and in love and expressing that love forever? You want it forever, of course. If you say I want it only for a minute or an experience, that means you're living that kind of a lust, kind of that sensual pleasure that is fleeting. And yes, you want more of it, but eventually, sooner or later, it leaves this emptiness afterwards. Eventually, if you are maybe people who engage in sexuality because, okay, it's pleasurable, it's joyful, and they indulge deeply in it without the spiritual aspect, sooner or later they will not be able to do it even. And they feel emptiness, and they feel loneliness. And they might incur physical diseases, emotional diseases, psychological diseases, because they don't have that realization. And we all experience that. I'm not exempting. Like, to some level, to some extent, we go through the emotional traumas and psychological and all of that to degrees. Unless we come to realize that we really love the infinite. And we fall in love with Allah, the infinite, and we realize that our love for these things, it is just because it's a trace from Him, it's a trace from the Beloved. So we have this understanding that we are, as long as this exists, we say Alhamdulillah. When this passes, we know there is other forms coming. Rumi, the beautiful Sufi poet, he said that whatever you lose will come to you in another form. Why are you so devastated? This love will come to you in another form, in according to your place. But what we do is that they call it fall in love because it's from heaven. Love is from heaven in its purity. Then we mix it up because we don't understand it. Then that when you love something, then you yearn. If it is like food, then you have the appetite for it. Oh, ice cream will feel so good now. This thing. If it is a person, then you miss the person. You miss a parent that is far away, or a child, or your spouse when they are not in front of you. You might miss them while they are with you because you have not yet realized. So it falls from heaven, and you start to form this longing, this yearning that is always there, and it always will continue, because Allah traces never ends. So yes, you will be desiring things, but if you understand it and you attach your desire to the ultimate love, the purest, that is Allah, then as I said, this will come and go, whether it is here or not here. There will always be here, there will always be now, there will always be the divine presence that is love. So you will always have it, and you will be able to handle this loss easier, because now you have the faith in Allah, that things pass away, because it's time to pass away that way, because for a new experience for you, to know the beloved more. Love by nature demands renewal. Love demands renewal. That is why we take things for granted if they are always here. And we even don't feel anymore the love for them. But when this renewal happens, when we lose something, this renewal, this longing comes, this yearning. So as I said in some verse, I was inspired with, that because love demands renewal, Allah allows us to go astray. He allows us to go astray, to renew our love, because otherwise we're actually not feeling the divine presence. If you are spouses, for example, you take your spouse for granted at times, and you're even bored of him or her. But when they go far away, you start to yearn for them. Oh, I miss them now. Oh, this man reminds me with that. So you start that separation, that sense of separation renews a love. Similarly, Allah allows you to be headless, lets you to be headless or distracted or have a sense of separation, so that when you meet Allah again, asking for forgiveness also, you renew that love. It is renewed, and it goes to a depth. And then you taste the sweetness of direct encounter again. You taste the sweetness of forgiveness again. You taste the connecting again. So it's renewed that way. And of course, Allah also let that happen to help us detach from the world and understand its depths, its inner meaning. So he let that happen. So we form the longing and yearning, then we form attachment, and this is most of our problem comes from our attachment. Once we are attached to something, we form almost like addiction, and we don't want to lose this person or that thing for any reason. So this attachment, we are attached to something that is perishable, that is changeable. And that's what pains us. But once you attach to the infinite, to the non-changeable, the perishable, that is Allah, then you will handle life better. You will see life to its depths. And this attachment form unhealthy relationship, definitely, because it makes us want to control, and we can't control. Makes us to have authority. So there is actually many vocabularies about the love in Arabic language. Just we don't have time to share all of it, but how someone becomes madly in love with someone, that they want to control them. They want to possess the other person, whether it's a spouse or a parent or a child. Usually parents do it with the children, not the other way. So you want to possess the person, you want to control their life, and love turns to something else. not intended to be that way. Unhealthy relationship, nobody learns from it that way unless the pain becomes terrible, then we wake up. And so, or we may not, may Allah protect. So, we form the attachment. We form an attachment to our property because we love it. We love our houses, we love our beds, we form addictions. And so when that's gone, for one reason or another, we're devastated. But when you have Allah, you will not feel as devastated and hopeless and helpless and unloved. You will always feel not lonely. You feel Allah is with you, He's taking care of you. And you start, as we said earlier, to notice every thing, little thing, as a sign from Allah. And when you notice all the countless little things, there is abundance, there is fullness. That's what we need to awaken to and to remind ourselves with. And so attachment, sometimes people lie to get a person, deceive, to possess, to control, for selfish pleasure, regardless of the other person. That's why there is abusive relations. That is why there is many forms of abuses, from financial to emotional, and both men and women do it. We want to possess. Women use their sexual power for manipulation. Men might use their physical power for manipulation also, to possess, to control. And not, the wise people say, if you love something, you have to give it that freedom. It will always come back to you. So, you have to have the real meaning of love. What is the purpose even of marriage and love? Is it only to procreate and get the species going? Or it has a very, very deep meaning? The Prophet ﷺ said it's half your religion. Marriage is half your religion. But we'll talk also about the single situation because I care about that, because I'm a single person too right now. So, people, when they form the yearning for union, which is a desire to become united with the infinite, with Allah, with the purest love and compassion and mercy and patience and strength, and we form the attachment to the physical, to the trace, rather than to the source. We attach ourselves to the trace. Then we either take it so physical, and people fall in the lust with all of its problems. Some people take it very spiritual. They may become celibate. Celibate is the right word? Yeah, celibate, and they don't want to experience life, to escape. But we're not encouraged to do that, actually. There are different few cases, maybe they have, there are rare cases for that, and it's up to Allah. I'm not judging anyone, but we're encouraged to experience life to its fullness. So we're encouraged to have a spiritual bond, of course, as parents or as spouses or as colleagues and friends, to have the spiritual bond that comes also with the physical, secondary to it, But they go parallel together. And the more you are grounded in the spiritual, actually the physical will come more pleasurable.
More what?
Pleasurable and bliss, pure bliss. And so what people do is they turn to lust, physical, if they have no, they want their freedom. But freedom without knowledge can ruin you. A child needs his freedom. So he wants to go touch the fire. He has no knowledge yet that the fire burns and hurts and pains. So he thinks that the mother restricting him is a restriction of his freedom. But it is for his well-being, to see the reality as it is, and to set these boundaries, to live in according to the reality, because that is how we learn, through the finite, through the boundaries. That's what we learn about the reality, about ourselves, and about Allah, through the physical and through the spiritual dimension of it, the meaning of it. So when we turn to lust, then it becomes like fitna. This word in Arabic, you might come in Sufi books that speaks of fitna. Fitna is like mesmerizing spell. It's almost like a spell that leave you under a spell, you know. That's the word I could come with to describe this Arabic word. Like you're under a spell, you're not anymore yourself. You become like, you know, we have this concept called al-qareen. Al-qareen when the shaitan or jinn or maybe your ego take over. It becomes a twin of you, but it's not really you. See? It's something else. So, when we take it spiritual and turn it to Allah, and to follow the Sharia that governs that, because that will cause a lot of, it's like it's a fire. We have to follow the Sharia, the divine law of do and don'ts and the boundaries, so that turn us more to the spiritual. At that level. Sometimes we don't understand why. At least trust Allah, trust a belief, not a verified existential experience yet. Trust the Shaykh, the guide, the spiritual guide, and follow that. Eventually, you will verify the truth about it with deep, deep understanding. Otherwise, you will go that way and come too late or never come because you're under a spell. So, it will take harder time. So it's better to follow the Sharia that governs this, so we will not hurt one another physically and emotionally and so forth, and we will not hurt ourselves unconsciously or consciously sometimes. So we will have to follow the Sharia because of that. Then, if we take it spiritual then, with the Sufi teaching, with the books, with the practices, with the zikr, with remembering Allah, the Sufi path is about loving Allah. And there is a difference, then you enter into the tariqah. After the Sharia, you want to be conscious of the way you do things. You're not anymore doing it because you fear the fire and the hurt, but you're doing it because you started to love it and you want to perfect it. So you're doing things more of a love. Maybe to enter paradise, you know, but eventually you come to a place where you do it just because it becomes your very self, and very natural, and very right, and you verify the truth about it. So you go with the spiritual, and you have desire. You have desire to have friends, to have this or that, to marry. These are legitimate desire. Allah created it that way, because you're going to learn from it, the spiritual. Then you follow that. And when you follow that and you continue to be just on those levels, there is still always something missing. And you start to have this nostalgia. Nostalgia for something greater than all of this. That is your nostalgia for Allah. So once you realize that and you step into the loving, the divine love, the Sufi Sheikhs helps you to do this step. Because you're entering now into the realm of ma'rifah, of knowing. And that nostalgia helps you to seek that. And once you seek that, then you start to know better the purpose of all of this. And you start to love in Allah. What does it mean to love in Allah? Al-Hubb fillah. You're loving now the traces of the beloved, so you love everything because of your love for the ultimate, for the infinite, for Allah. For that divine essence. That's what you love. And you love it through its expression of its qualities that appear and manifest in all these traces, these ayat. And so when you love in Allah that way, you know why you fall in love with someone or something. Sometimes you say that I meet people, it doesn't matter to be a romantic love, but you meet someone and you're attracted to know them more. You feel like, I need to know this person, I need to befriend that person. While you meet other people, you may feel repulsion, because we also learn through repulsion. Repulsion is another way to learn. But we're sometimes attracted to some people. We are attracted to the Sufi sheikhs, of course, to the Sufi teachers, to the spiritual guides, because they are so beautiful. You see more of the divine light and the beauty through them. So you wanted to be in their presence, you want to be with them, you want to follow their way. So, because they mirror for you this. So we created mirror to one another. That is the purpose. And that's why marriage is encouraged and is a path to enter ma'rifah, to enter knowing. Because many times opposite attracts. We were talking about that earlier. Opposite attracts. You find like a patient person got attracted to impatient person, or dynamic person to a laid back person, or talkative person to more quiet person, irritated person to more peaceful person, things like that. Opposite attracts. And when opposite attracts, I think there is a mistake that many scholars, at least most of the scholars that I listen to, say because you're meant to complete one another. So you're fine that way. It's wonderful, you're not patient, but your spouse is patient, because you're complete one another. But would Allah excuse you from being patient because you're married to a patient one? It doesn't work that way. You can't say, Astaghfirullah, Allah, I was impatient, but my wife was patient, or my husband was patient, so he completed me. This is not how it's supposed to be. Allah will ask you individually, why you didn't learn to be patient. If you have learned patient, you would know me through it. That's why I put you with that person, to learn from them. We hate it because we want to fix everyone else and we don't want to look at our mirror because it's hard. We're very critical of ourselves too, so we sometimes escape looking at our mirror. And that manifests in the physical. So we look and say, my nose is so big and this, and people start to say these things. But it's actually a projection of something more deeper, that we don't know ourselves. We want ourselves to be, who we're supposed to be. We want to learn these godly qualities. We want to learn them, embody them, represent them, taste them, experience their sweetness and beauty and majesty. So Allah puts the people together to rub against one another. So there is this dynamic going on, but everyone is focusing on the other person. We need to fix that person. But they don't want to fix themselves, they don't look at themselves. The Sufi path is about to look at Islam and any other religion is to adjust your own conduct. And Allah will not change the situation of the people until they change what is within themselves. He asked us to change. He didn't ask us, you will just complete one another. He asked us to do the hard work of changing, and it is hard. So we don't like it. It's unknown territory because we fall into this pattern of behavior, these habits. And it becomes so difficult to get off our habits, to break our habits. The Quran speaks about the people of the right hand, the people of the left hand. Ashab al-Mash'ama is actually, the word Mash'ama caught my attention to look because it is not literally the left. There is Ashab al-Shimal. It's good. But Mash'ama is another word. So when I looked it over in the dictionary, it actually means habits. Like it comes from that root. Like the people who form these habits that are unhealthy and not in tune with your innate nature fitra, and you get under that spell. So I don't want you to despair because everything, as Sidi says, can be step after step. At least have the courage to face ourselves, to look in our inner mirror and to see. And one good or nice way to do it is to look at the person you meet, any person you meet, with that attitude, what I can learn from them. Allah brought them to my path because I can take something from them, I can learn. And it could be a very simple thing. I can learn from their patience, from their caring, from their courage, from their generosity, maybe from their sense of humor. I can learn something from every person. So the best teacher is the best student. He lives that in life. Like if I meet a person, everyone becomes eventually my spiritual guide. And that not to take away from our great sheikhs and spiritual guide, but to say that you have to learn that because they learn it that way. When you meet a person, what can I learn from that person? Why they are put in my path? What they are mirroring to me from this beautiful quality, and everyone has a mix of those. What can I learn from them that I'm lacking? So you come from that humble place rather than, how can I change that person because they are horrible? Okay, you can try, but when we bump against one another that way, it becomes hard. So the best we could is to, of course, if both people in the relationship are aware of this, so it is not about one will learn always from the other. It doesn't work that way. Both have things to give and things to take. So they have to work within themselves and then come from that place of guidance from Allah, that place of opening to change, opening to learn, and addressing the issues together in that way, contemplating it, practicing together, and that can help most likely to foster a healthier relationship, a healthier atmosphere that can produce a better relationship. But it doesn't mean it will be perfect.